things that my therapists have shared with me over the last 6 years of my healing and wellness journey have completely changed my life. And I'm sure they'll have an impact on yours too. Hello, my name is MacKenzie Mae. I create videos sharing my wellness journey to inspire yours. If you're ready to embrace healing and growth, hit that subscribe button and join this community because you are welcome and I'm so happy you're here. Let's get right into what my therapists have told me over the last 6 years that have completely changed my life and hopefully yours. Get those dirty thoughts out of your mind and keep your thoughts clean. My most recent therapist told me this, and it has completely changed my outlook on negative self-talk and anxiety. So what does that even mean though? Dirty thoughts are anything that is negative self-talk, feelings of not being good enough, or having anxious, unrealistic thoughts. The reason I love Keep Your Thoughts Clean is because it's super memorable. So anytime I have dirty thoughts, I'm able to clean those thoughts up, reframe the thoughts into something more productive, something more realistic in a lot of ways. So this has been a game changer for me. Anytime I think I'm not good enough, that thought pops into my mind, I'm immediately like, oh, flagged as a dirty thought. Let's get those out of here. Let's clean her up. I'm able to be like, actually, no, MacKenzie, you are good enough. You are capable. You can do anything you put your mind to. Let's keep those thoughts clean, okay? How brilliant is that? Thank you, therapist. I love that. Anytime you're having negative self-talk, not feeling good enough, feeling anxious about something, just ruminating on things, remember to keep your thoughts clean. The second thing one of my therapists have told me that has completely changed my life is setting boundaries is self-care, not conflict. I learned this recently in a wellness retreat I went on where there were several therapists and a group of us. It blew so many of our minds. So if you have people-pleasing tendencies like me, this one's for you. I don't know about you, but I typically feel super uncomfortable with conflict or confrontation. And in the past, I've felt like setting boundaries is a form of confrontation because a lot of times when you're setting boundaries, it's maybe not received great by the other person, or it's not what they exactly want. And I'm the type of person that wants to be super accommodating and not upset people. But what I've learned is it's fine and dandy to be accommodating, not upset people, and compromise on things. However, it's not okay when it's at your own expense. Setting a boundary is a form of self-care. It's a form of self-preservation. Boundaries are limits you have to ensure that your own well-being is preserved. It's being able to say no when something makes you uncomfortable, or being able to communicate that you're okay with something if you're comfortable with it. It does require you to identify what your boundaries are though. I'd love to make an entire other video on how to identify your boundaries because it's a lot that I don't have time in this video to go over, but let me know in the comments if that's something that you'd be interested in or something that you need help with because I'm learning it too, so it'd be great for me to learn and to share what I learned with you guys. But basically, setting boundaries is a way that you can help teach others how to treat you, which is the next thing that my therapists have told me that has changed my life. I would describe my current self as pretty passive, which I am definitely working on, being more assertive, compassionately assertive, but being a more passive person, I've struggled a bit on being able to say how I feel. And low-key sometimes lie that I'm okay with something when I'm really not, which is not good. By doing that, I'm teaching others that I accept how they're treating me, even if internally I don't, even if internally it hurts me. By setting boundaries assertively with compassion and respect, you can teach others how you would like to be treated. For example, one of my top love languages or ways that I receive love best is quality time. And so in my romantic relationship, in my family, in my friendships, I let them know that that is one of my love languages. So when we're spending time together, I prefer that phones aren't used a lot. I really want to be engaged in our time together and have that quality time. And so having the phone out kind of interrupts that. By me sharing that that is my boundary, that I prefer phones to be put away when we're having quality time with one another, they know how to treat me when they're spending time with me. If I didn't share that boundary and they were on their phone all the time when we're spending time together, then I'm teaching them that I'm okay with that. When in reality, reality, inside, I might start to feel a little resentment. I might feel like they don't appreciate me or think that the time we have together is valuable. If I don't communicate that boundary, if I don't communicate how I want to be treated, how I want our time to be treated, then how are they supposed to know? So setting boundaries, again, is self-care, self-preservation, and they're how we teach others how to treat us. The next thing that my therapists have told me that has completely changed my life is triggers offer information. First off, triggers are some type of external stimuli that cause a emotional, usually intensely negative reaction out of someone. They typically happen for people who've experienced trauma or have some type of mental illness. So something happens, you're triggered, you're angry, you're sad, you start having a panic attack, whatever your emotional response is. Something had to have caused that trigger. We might not know it, but if we do a little digging, if we find that information in that trigger, we can figure out what caused it to eliminate that from happening again. Or if it's something that we can't eliminate from happening, we can start to work on reducing the likelihood that whatever caused the trigger will happen again. I'm a survivor of child sexual abuse, and with that comes a lot of trauma, and I've experienced so many different types of triggers over the years. A lot of times I was triggered, I would emotionally respond to that, and I got so frustrated because I didn't know why I was feeling the way I was feeling. I thought there was something wrong with me, or my mind was just broken and this is how it has to be. But once my therapist told me that triggers offer information, it gave me a sense of control over the situation, a plan of action. It made me get curious about my triggers to figure out what caused them, because if I figure out what caused them, I can make sure that doesn't happen again, or that the trigger will impact me less. And now I am far less triggered in my day-to-day, like night and day, from when I was a teenager to now being 24. So it is possible. If you are highly triggered and you have trauma or anything, please go through therapy, get professional help. I've been on my journey for 6 years now, and all I can say is it's 100% worth it. And if you're interested in learning more about my story, or if you're a survivor yourself, check out my podcast, because I share my entire story on there, a lot of other experiences that I've gone through, different impacts that I've had relating to my trauma, and it could help. So I'll link that in the description if you're interested. The last thing I'll share that has changed my life that one of my therapists has told me is what other people think of you is none of your business. It's none of your business, girl. I have people-pleasing tendencies, I have perfectionist tendencies, and so I want people to like me. If I'm in the grocery store and I'm in someone's way, I will literally jump out of the way. I will pull whoever I'm with out of their way because I want to accommodate others. I will ruminate in my mind if I think someone doesn't like me. So I was sharing this sentiment with my therapist and all of these different situations that I've been feeling and how it's really impacted me that I just care what people think so much. And she finally told me that what other people think of you is none of your business. It really isn't. What you think of you is important. What people who truly deeply know you think about you matters way more than the random person at the grocery store or on the sidewalk or at work thinks of you. They only have a snippet of you. They don't know you fully, and so they can't really form an opinion on you that matters unless they truly know you. And on top of that, nothing anyone else says is personal. None of it is personal. We all have our own subjective experiences over our entire lifetime that influences the way that we think today, the way that we think about others and what we value and don't value. Another person's opinion of you is really just a reflection of them. It has nothing to do with you. I highly recommend reading The 4 Agreements, because in that book they go deep into why nothing is personal, and it is pretty fascinating and has really impacted my mindset. So I'll link it in the description if you're interested in reading that. I know I said 5, but I'm gonna give you a little bonus one since you stayed around so long. Thank you. Mwah. I love you. So the real last thing I'll say that a therapist has told me that has changed my life is to know that as you heal and grow and move forward, others will try to hold you to your past self. Have you ever heard you've changed in a way that's supposed to be an insult? Well, I have. Once I began my healing journey, people started being like, oh my gosh, you're so different. You've changed. You're just not the same anymore. Blah, blah, blah. Honey, you're supposed to change. In reality, they're just used to your past self, your past unhealed version of you. Healing yourself literally changes your brain. You're rewiring your neural pathways, your thought patterns to exist in the world in a healed way. So obviously you're going to be different. Your personality is going to change. You're probably going to be a lot more positive and happy and living a more fulfilling life. And unfortunately, to people who haven't gone on a healing journey or worked to grow and improve themselves, they don't have that perspective. Often they're going to look at you and feel a certain way about how you've changed. Please don't let that discourage you though, because you're supposed to change. You're putting in the work to be a better version of you. So of course that version of you is going to be different than a past unhealed version. So sometimes you have to let those people go or reduce the amount of time that they're in your life. I've definitely had to do this. It's not an easy thing. It's not, but it's sometimes very necessary for your own growth and healing. So that is the last thing I'll share today on things that my therapists have told me that have changed my life. Please let me know what you thought of these and if you got anything out of them, because I would love to know. And like I said, these have genuinely changed my life, changed my mindset and how I move through the world and how I think about myself and my healing, and has just given me so much hope. If you liked this video, you'll probably like the last video I made. It was how to be more positive. I'll link it right here. If you've been stuck in a negative mindset or looking at the world in a pessimistic lens and you want to be more positive and see the world more optimistically, watch that video, because I share 5 tips that have helped me become more positive, as I was that very, very negative person. And with that, I will let you go. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'm excited to see you in the next video. Goodbye!